Hi friends, welcome to Kelly Century Ranch. My name is Amanda. We are the corporate prodigal children returning to our family's 100-year-old farm to reestablish it for the next generation. And it is November. It is super windy outside. I'm in the greenhouse. My camera does not do great with really any wind, but especially this amount of wind. And it's cold. It's cold outside. Not like... Okay, I'm not wearing a coat cold, but it's cold for considering what it's been. It's in the 40s, but here in the greenhouse, it's nice. Let's take a look. It is 64 here in the greenhouse. And not only that, but like outside, since it's so windy, it feels colder, right? And I know that some of you are probably from much colder regions than y'all are. But yeah, I get cold real easy, so I like the summer sun. But in the greenhouse, not only is it, 64 degrees, but the sun is shining in on my skin and it feels lovely. So what are we doing in the greenhouse today? Why are we planting in November? Here in the Missouri Ozarks, we have a really long growing season, thankfully. And in a lot of that growing season, I can't grow in my greenhouse because it's way too hot in here. So, if some people around us have high tunnels, so they can use shade cloths and things like that. But in your typical structured greenhouse, it gets really, really warm in the summer. But in the winter, it is the perfect time to grow in the greenhouse. And this is my first winter having it, and I'm super excited to just see what we can do. As always, I will give a disclaimer. Please do not, unless you are watching this much later and I have shown whether or not this worked, don't take this as a how-to, because I'm learning. This is my first year with a greenhouse, and with a greenhouse, I have already learned there is a learning curve. But a week ago, we started lettuce, and let me show you how it's doing. It is doing so well. I'm so excited to see it germinating. Oh, so exciting. So after that wasn't an abysmal failure, we've had some of those, I thought maybe we could plant some other things. And again, I'm starting these in seed trays here in, let's adjust the camera a little bit, right? Here in Missouri, well, in a lot of places, you don't have to start your lettuce seeds or your brassica seeds. I could just in a seed tray. I could just start them in pots. But I've just really struggled with the garden this year, and this is what helps me kind of control things, and I can move plants into as many, if I start them like this, and I can move them into as many pots and things as I need, or I can share them with friends and things. So for me, just because we've had a lot of struggles, we're going to do it this way. I hopefully in future years, I might be looking back at this video and thinking, what were you thinking? You could have just did it this way. But I like it this way. This gives me a little bit more control over temperature, over humidity, over a lot of things, and let's see how it goes. I used almost all of my seed starting mix when I planted my lettuce the other day. So I'm just going to add it to my little pot of potting soil here on top and mix it in with that, and that'll be just fine. So what are we planting today? So today I want to plant some kale and some spinach. So I've got some, these are the two kale that I have. They are both from Baker Creek. I was going to see if either one of them said, see if they say anything. They're both frost hardy. Some of them will say if they are, a good winter variety or whatever. But I think either one will be good. But those are the two from Baker Creek that I am going to plant. I also have some spinach. This is just a 4 for $1 spinach that I got at the dollar store. And then I have some Swiss chard. And now I've really not ate much, or I mean, maybe, I'm sure I've probably had Swiss chard and things, but I've never grew it. But anyway, I'm excited to try it. I like spinach, so I mean, even though it's a chard, but this one it's more of a spinach flavor, it says. So anyway, I thought it would be kind of neat to try. So that's kind of what we have going on planting today. I'm excited to see how this turns out. I'll be honest, you know, I plant these for the food. I plant these for the food. But I also just really, really love being able to get my hands in the dirt, especially in a time of year where it's not usually the case. Anything extra just goes back in the bucket. Soil a little bit so that the seeds stick. Now I am planting several seeds in each, at least 3 or 4 seeds in each little pot, just in case I don't have these. These are some older seeds that I have, and also just because, you know, just hoping for the best, right? Increase our chances. Okay, a few left of those we'll save for spring. Now I have left, I don't know if you can see it from where my camera is, but I have left my packages up here so I kind of know where I've planted things, and I will go back, and I've got some masking tape that I'm going to label them with in a minute. Okay, next up on the list, this one says it is a 60-day kale, so that's really cool to think that we could potentially be eating some kale in January when it's like super cold. Will that be a thing? I don't know, but I'm excited to try. Alright, that done. Move on to the spinach. Now, a lot of people might be wondering why would we try to grow, you know, in the middle of winter and you know, late fall and middle of winter, and there's just a couple reasons for that. One, of course, the main obvious one is to have fresh food over the winter. You know, over the winter. It's not, we don't eat nearly as much fresh fruit over the winter just simply because of its lack of availability. Two, for me, is just being, you know, less reliant on the grocery store. You know, that's one of the reasons we do this too, is to just be a little bit more self-sufficient and you know, less reliant on the grocery store. Also, for me, I am just learning. You know, I've had a garden for many years, but I'm still learning new ways of doing things, and new, you know, whether it's the greenhouse or you know, different growing mediums and soil things and types, and just just a lot of things. I'm still learning all of that. Even this will be I think this will be my 4th year. 25 will be my 5th year. I don't remember. I grew a little bit before 2020, but 2020 is when, you know, like a lot of you, I had some time off, and I you know, and I built some raised beds. I think maybe 2019 I had actually put in some raised beds before then. But you know, so I still feel like I'm relatively new to this, but I think we should all be learning. Okay, got the spinach planted. Let's do the Swiss chard. Let's see what these seeds look like. Oh, okay. They look interesting. You see that? Okay, let's get it planted. I don't know if you guys have been able to hear the turkeys in the background. They're out free ranging right now. Since we don't have anything out, you know, planted outside and different things. I did eat some flowers that were still going strong, but that's okay. The garlic I planted, I put up a net around recently, so they're safe from them. But they are awful fun to free range. Okay, I don't even know how deep I'm supposed to plant that, but I'm sure our little seed packet will tell us. Oh yeah, so they get planted a little bit deeper than the other things. I think the spinach may too get a little bit. Yeah. A little bit bigger seeds, so we'll just pack them down a little bit further. Sprinkle some dirt on top. Be good to go. I am going to just dampen them a little bit, since again the soil isn't as wet, just so that those seeds have some. I'll know for sure that those seeds have water on them quickly. Before I forget, I'm gonna label what we've done here, right? Okay, we got it labeled. That the masking tape has the greenhouse has not been kind to it, right? Okay, so now we are going to put a lid on it. I don't always put lids on them in the spring when I do kale and lettuce and things, but since we're in the greenhouse and it's cold, we're gonna give it a little extra layer of protection. Thanks for joining us on the ranch today on this very windy, cool day here in the Missouri Ozarks, where we are getting our hands dirty, planting, and all of the fun things. We would like to invite you to please join us on our journey by subscribing to our channel and sharing with those that you think might be interested in this kind of content. But we are so glad to just be sharing with you guys. Until next time, I hope all of your homesteading dreams come true. Bye, friends. Someone wants in. We want in there with you.